The At Your End Step podcast is brought to you by ComicTown. Check them out at www.comictown.net and search for ComicTown Gaming Center on Facebook. Hello, and welcome to At Your End Step. My name is Morgan, and I'm here with Mike.
Hello.
And Dave.
All right. Oh, we did that one last week.
No more Matthew
Hi.
McConaughey references. Is perfectly fine. The podcast does not need that. So we have another fun-filled episode for you today. We have some community stuff. Some more spoilers are sort of trickling out. We're in full-blown spoiler season at this point in time, so we'll be touching on a few things here, and then we also want to just mention the standard Super League, since that's now done and over with, and then touch on the modern Super League, which will be starting up here, and then move into competitive. We have some WMCQ stuff. We have SCGCIN, and then we have a new segment to kind of give you guys a more of an in-depth idea of maybe some mechanics and stuff like that, because we know that a lot of our listeners are competitive people and they like to hear the more competitive side of things, and talking about mechanics is always a good place to start. And then we just have our odds and ends at the end of the show, like we typically do, talk about tournaments and stuff happening over the weekend. Well, let's get started then. So let's dive into the community segment. We currently have a bunch of Battle for Zendikar spoilers.
89 cards so far.
Yeah,
So
which
about a third.
Yeah, a third of the set, which is a fairly sizable amount, and a lot of the stuff that does get spoiled early is pretty high impact.
I will say the 89 also includes all of the basic lands, though.
So that's true.
Well,
That's
we've
true.
got a lot to go.
To be fair, full art basic lands is very high impact for standard. A lot of your mana bases are going to be looking very pretty.
I was going to say fly. I was just saying, just like
Very, very
man,
fly.
that mana base be fly.
It'd be fly. I'm very excited about it. I will enjoy opening packs that have full art lands in them. I never got that opportunity because I didn't play when Zendikar and Worldwake were out.
I'd have to instruct the wife, be like, okay, you're no longer discarding the land slot. I
Yeah,
want you to know that
you're
you're
keeping
putting
it.
that immediately in your box. Like,
Correct.
Just doing that immediately.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, for sure. But we now know the rest of our Planeswalker, assortment for the set as far as we know. But it's pretty certain that these are the three that we're going to get. Period. And we have Kiora, Master of the Depths, and then Omnixilus Reignited. So he, found the remix to Ignition. And,
That the art. So people have been going like gaga over the art, and it's not bad. But I will say, in the card frame, the way it's like zoomed in, it looks like he's just smiling at his hand. Like he's like whoa, like totally.
It's on
totally,
fire.
Totally just sparked up.
Cool.
Man, I thought that was good.
no, it's good.
All
It's
right,
great.
all right, fair enough.
So these are, pretty sweet cards. They kind of fall in line with, cards that do cool things but aren't necessarily Jace the Mind Sculptor territory, which, we've already discussed at length. That's not where Planeswalkers are in their current design space. But let's talk about Kiora first. So 4 mana, so 2 blue-green. For a 4 loyalty Planeswalker, and reads +1, untap up to 1 target creature and up to 1 target land. So kind of gets a twiddle effect going on. Little, obviously just untapping, not necessarily tapping stuff. I know twiddle's a little bit different, but whatever. And then we have a -2, which says reveal of the top 4 cards of your library. You may put up to 1 creature card and or a land card from among them into your hand, and then put the rest into your graveyard. So that's sort of the oomph effect. We obviously have Delve, which this helps fuel, and then drawing up to 2 cards. You can get 2 cards off of this. Am I?
Yeah.
So that's always pretty awesome to have. And then we get my favorite part about this particular card, which is the ultimate, which is -8.
Which nobody knows how it works.
Are you kidding me? This works like the best.
No, but people were confused about this. But just go ahead.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about it after.
Okay, so you get an emblem with, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may have it fight target creature, and then put 3 8/8 blue octopus creature tokens on the battlefield. So if you don't know how this works, you get the emblem, and then the tokens come into play, and then you get to fight. You get to have your octopuses fight other things, which is fantastic.
Right. Like when it was originally spoiled, I believe it was Japanese like before we got the English version that showed up. It was spoiled in the way it was worded. It was like, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you fight, and then you put 3 octopus tokens into play. So it's like you just get infinite because it's like they keep coming into play, and then you keep fighting, and then you keep coming into play. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's 2 separate things. You get the emblem,
Yes.
and then you get 3 8/8s.
It's
So you just get infinite 8/8s.
It's awesome, and like I said, it's 100% my favorite part about this card for sure. So, we don't really know the kind of landscape that's going to be existing when this card's out. I mean, if there is a deck that can support, blue green, maybe a teamer deck or something like that, we could see her getting play. It seems like she obviously wants to have creatures, and then I think a spell that obviously goes in both controlled decks as well as mid-range lists is Dig Through Time, and that'll obviously still be around. And I think like this and Jace, of course, Jace is another good thing to have when your graveyard's getting full and you want things to like potentially flashback or something like that. So she's synergized as well. She's not necessarily this wow card or anything like that, but I like it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think even if you can pretty much ensure that your Jace is going to flip on turn 4, pretty much. So if you basically have like a fetch land, and then you just play Jace on turn 2, and then you just play Kira on turn 4 minus, then you can guarantee flip Jace.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. I think I could see this, like you said, it feels delve because on the -2 ability, the cards that you don't choose go to your graveyard, which is actually different than what we've seen. I think like probably the closest thing would be Jace Architect of Thought is what people are kind of comparing this to. You have the same 4 mana cost and 4 loyalty starting point, and then you can drop the 2 cards with it. So, but that card didn't put the cards into your graveyard. The cards that you didn't choose went to the bottom. So. It's a little bit different there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine they designed it specifically just for delve shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean, it's Sultai. It's got 2/3 of the Sultai colors. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even really know like what Sultai is going to look like because like the current lists have so many cards that are rotating out. So things like Satyr Wayfinder and Courser of Crucifix and
right. It's not something like the Abzan aggro lists that have a lot of cards that it's actually retaining. A lot of the cards that fuel these 3-color decks are going to be shifting. It helps that Cons does have cards that support the shards, but the wedges. So we'll see if battle kind of reinforces that or pushes you more towards maybe 2-color decks or something like that. But I mean, being that this fits into 2 wedges, I would think it'd be hard for it not to have a deck that it could potentially fit into at the very least.
Right. Yeah. The only thing that's concerning to me about this is that just the +1 is so weak. It does synergize nice with Hangerback Walker, which as we've found is just basically can go in every deck. So why not?
There's no reason not to.
So that's pretty cool. That's definitely nice. Even be able to like tap to put a counter on your Hangerback Walker, then you can untap the land that you used and the Hangerback Walker itself to buff it up even more. It's kind of nice.
Seems absolutely fine.
But yeah, I mean, it reminds me a lot of Ral Zarek's +1, which didn't really do anything. So
yeah, I definitely can see that. I mean, you could definitely set up ways for this to be beneficial. I mean, theoretically, you could use this if we get a decent ramp creature in battle. You can use it as like another ramp spell, and stuff like that. So
yeah, we do have what's the one I'm thinking of, the teamer guy with Morph.
Yes.
Rattleclaw Mystic.
Yeah, Rattleclaw Mystic, yes.
So we'll still have that, and if there's a teamer deck, then maybe that's a nice synergy that we can
maybe that's the key there.
Yeah. So I like this card. I don't like it as much as Gideon, but it we'll have to see like what's in the rest of the set before I really make a final decision on whether I think this is good.
For sure. So just so you guys know, Mike had to leave, so he will not have any opinions about any further cards we talk about. So we'll just assume that he was just wrong about everything because he didn't say anything. It's great. Works out perfectly.
We'll have to record his bit later and then put it in.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
perfect.
probably not going to happen.
No, not at all.
Don't expect that.
Yeah. So next, we'll touch briefly on Nixilis Reignited. So it's 5 mana Planeswalker, 3 black, and it has a +1 for draw. Starts at a 5 loyalty, +1 draw a card, lose a life. So Phyrexian Arena, Underworld Connections, and then it has a -3 destroy target creature, and then -8 target opponent gets an emblem with whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life. So that'll get them dead.
Yeah, that'll get them dead real quick.
Yeah.
So this one, yeah.
I mean, like this one feels like a control card in a lot of ways, or a mid-range card, where it's going to give you advantage. It's going to kill something when it first comes down, and then it gives you a way to win the game. And I feel like a lot of these planeswalkers that are coming out as of now kind of fit this mold where they're role players. They have places where they can go, but they're not overtly powerful or anything like that.
Yeah, this one, from what I've seen, has not been getting a lot of love, and it's not the best. 5 mana Planeswalkers have to be like really good to kind of break in.
They have a harder time breaking into it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Sarkin, the Dragon Speaker, did pretty well for a while, but even that card got phased out a little bit as people just basically played Stormbreath Dragon over it for the most part, which makes sense because we have a lot of Draconic Roar and things like that that synergize. But I mean, this card, I could definitely see it. It's obviously being a monocolor Planeswalker. There's going to be maybe more opportunities for it to fit into different decks that pop up. I could definitely see it in like a blue-black control deck, being able to just have it come down and just immediately kill something is nice. And then if they can't deal with this, then it's just going to start drawing cards, and you could even go just play it, kill something, next turn draw a card, and then you'd be ready to kill something else again. So definitely nice for like something like maybe blue-black control, or even something like an Abzan control deck. I think wouldn't mind playing like one of these.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want too many of them, but I mean, if you play it on an equal board, or if there's just nothing going on and you just play this and you just start drawing cards, I mean, you're going to get ahead. You're going to be able to mount an advantage. So
yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think it's fine. It's not busted or anything like that, but I think it'll be a fine role player.
Yeah. So seeing that we're only getting 3 Planeswalkers, who knows what'll happen next set? Maybe we'll get just like another 3, which won't be too bad or anything like that. So another thing that we did want to talk about is that we did figure out what other lands we're getting in the set. Those are being enemy colored ban lands. Now these are actually going to be split up between the 2 sets, so between Battle and Oath. So we don't know how they're going to be distributed, assuming 3-2, so 3 in Battle, 2 in Oath. But who knows what colors we're actually going to be getting. We do know that we're going to get the blue-green one, and it is what you have the card up.
Lumbering Falls.
Lumbering Falls, yes.
So it's enters the battlefield tapped, adds blue or green, and it has 2 green blue colon. Lumbering Falls becomes a 3/3 green and blue elemental creature with hexproof until end of turn. It's still a land. So, yeah, I mean, this enemy cycle of manlands. I think people have been waiting for this.
Yeah, cube enthusiasts around the world rejoice as they can finish out, a set of lands in their cubes.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I mean, this land in particular is kind of underwhelming to me. Just 3/3 with no evasion. I mean, the hexproof is nice. Like, I could see this being played and being good against control decks because they're not going to have too many ways to actually kill it.
Yeah,
but if you're playing something like Modern, then people play Tectonic Edge and Ghost Quarter and stuff like that, so they could still kill it. But I wouldn't expect this one to be one of the best, but you know what? It's still a manland, and manlands are pretty much always good. So.
Yeah, like even like the only one that doesn't see play in Modern is Lava Call Reaches, and that's because usually you're not just playing a black-red deck. You know, you're reaching out to other colors that just have better man lands.
But even that card saw play when it was in standard.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, any man land, as bad as it is still going to see play. Like, people play the gain life land. You know, the blue green.
Yeah.
Whatever that one's called.
Thornwood Falls.
Yeah, people play that, and like, this is just way better than that card. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it'll see play. I just, not really excited about the abilities on this one, but I think I'm excited and also terrified of like what the black green one is going to be. We don't know if that one's going to be in this set or not, but like, it's like Abzan's good enough. We don't need like a busted man.
I don't think so, and I think that Wizards is kind of designing, because if you think about it, like, you have to design definitely for standard, but also the black green one is going to make impacts in modern depending on how good it is.
Oh yeah,
because Jund and Abzan love their man lands, love them, and Abzan is probably really excited because they get like their choice, because they're going to get both the black-white one and the black-green one with that set. So I'm sure they're like, doing cartwheels. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they don't mess up too bad and give us a busted man land in one of those colors, because I think they're going to split up the colors, though. I think we'll get like black-white or black-green, and then
I don't think we're going to get both of them.
Yeah, we won't. I don't think so. I think they do well with having like maybe the blue-red show up, and then like a black-white or black-green.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the blue-red one does for no particular reason.
No,
but
yeah, we'll see what happens with these. But it's exciting to see them finish out a cycle. So moving on past that, we did have a winner for the Standard Super League. Was Gabby Sparts. So congratulations to Gabby Sparts. Was she playing Goblins? Her Goblins list in the finals, or was she playing something different?
She was playing Mardu Dragons.
Mardu Dragons? Sweet.
Yes.
That's a very solid deck, especially against things like, Abzan, which I'm sure was pretty expected since Owen Turnwald was in the the top 4 bracket. So
yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, I don't usually watch any of the Super Leagues, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Vintage doesn't really interest me, just because I'm not really into Eternal. I'm not really into like Legacy and Vintage as much. And then this one, I mean, they usually actually do it while we're casting, because we cast on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes it hard to watch, and like, I just don't care enough to go back and watch the archives. But it was pretty cool that she took that down. I mean, obviously it's not like it was super competitive, a lot on the line or anything like that. But I mean, there were a lot of great players in this.
For sure.
I know Ifro was saying, this had 3 of the top 4 people from Worlds, in it. So it wasn't like she was playing against a bunch of nobodies.
No, not at all. And like, I think that's speaks volumes. Because even though like this might have been more on the casual end of the competitive spectrum, like it was still stiff competition, and I'm sure competitive players don't like shift gears or have like less competitive styles. Like, if you're a competitive player, you're gonna play to win at anything you play in. So so congrats. But the more exciting news is that there's actually going to be a modern Super League, which, I mean, if you didn't see this coming, like, it was gonna happen.
I'll find a way to watch this one.
But this one has some interesting names in it. So we have Mike Sigrist, Willie Idol, who big fan of, Sean McLaren, Reed Duke, Lee Shitian, Louis Scott Vargas, Patrick Dickman, notable twin aficionado, and Cedric Phillips is actually making his triumphant return to Magic Online.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, he was definitely a prominent streamer. He had the stream team and all that jazz, and then definitely had some conflict with version 4 of Magic Online, and didn't really enjoy the product, and refused to use it until they fixed it. But we see him show up here, and this is a Magic Online driven sort of series. So it's kind of interesting to see him kind of come back, and this will be the first time that he's probably done any extensive work on Magic Online that we know of since version 4 has really come out. But it's really exciting to see him back on the stream, and I think that he actually is a really big driver for people to want to watch this because he is such an entertaining personality to watch. So good on you, Wizards, for getting someone as awesome as Cedric. And we're not just saying this because he was on our show. He is just a genuinely cool person. So
yeah, I'm really excited about this for a multitude of reasons. I like that they're bringing some new North American players into it that we haven't seen yet. Mike Segrist hasn't been on any of the Super Leagues before. I don't believe Reed Duke was. Maybe he was in one of the standard Super Leagues.
Maybe
I don't think so.
But I don't think so. Yeah.
And then LSV we've seen on these before, but I mean he's one of the most entertaining, people in the community.
Right,
so
exactly.
I don't mind. He could be in all of them. I don't care.
Who cares?
It's fine. And Sean McLaren, who he's honestly his articles are pretty hilarious.
Yeah, he's a bit of a character. You can
Yeah.
tell. So I'm pretty okay with that.
But the fact that they've gotten all these international guys, got Willie Adel on here, which is great. Patrick Dickman, who plays a lot of Modern, is very good at Modern. It'll be interesting to see what he plays other than Twin.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they have to play different decks.
He's definitely an aficionado in that.
Yeah, and Li Tian is probably the most surprising person to me.
Sure.
On this whole list.
I mean, but you can't even he might be surprising, but he's definitely earned his slot. He certainly has worked super hard. I know you're not trying to say that, but other people will be like, oh, I don't know, he might be the less. I would hate to say it, the less notable person, but he is an amazing player and does some crazy stuff with combo decks and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's gonna come up with some really crazy stuff. So it'll be very entertaining.
Nah, he'll probably just play Jund and just be boring, and we'll be like, oh well, called that one wrong.
Yeah, but I like that this is. They've kind of up to this point, with the vintage and with the standard Super League, it's all been basically just Americans, just American players, and I really like that this is just really branching out, and you get a nice mix of you got the Player of the Year in here, you have guys who have won Modern Pro Tours, top 8'd multiple Modern Pro Tours, so it's really awesome. So I like where this is taking just the whole Super League series. I think we'll see more international people.
Yeah, it's going places, and it'll be sweet when we keep seeing it every year and get the new roster and getting people that we're drawn into seeing. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And then the thing that I'm most excited about, I think, is Cedric being on here.
Yeah,
because, and if you haven't watched any of the Super Leagues before, they will usually have the players that are not involved in the matches. Usually they'll have two people that are not playing at the time commenting on the match that's going on. So this will be kind of the first time that we'll see Cedric outside of a Star City event or versus video or something like that. So we'll see Cedric kind of on the Wizards broadcast there, and maybe this opens the door for maybe him doing some Pro Tour coverage in the future. We'll see. But I like the implication that it's basically it feels like it's just opening all these doors that possibilities that could happen in the future.
Yeah, and those are some amazing possibilities that could happen, and we could only dream of. But maybe they'll come to life.
Yeah, not to even mention just all the sweet Modern decks that we're probably going to see.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, it'll be awesome. Anytime you get to see Modern, the better. So speaking of Modern, we have a Star City Games, open series to cover. It was also Modern, so let's move into competitive. Also, we have a WMCQ to cover. It was won by none other than Tom Martell. He was playing Amulet Bloom Blue.
Yeah, just as we were talking the last couple of weeks about how it's kind of fallen off. And it's not surprising that somebody like Tom Martell would play it like that and do well with it.
Yeah, I'm sure that you put some time and effort into it, and naturally, a good player, and then taking advantage of things like Jund being really popular in the format right now, and crushing, and having an interesting situation happen in the finals where he was scooped to, which definitely caused some controversy. Not surprisingly, in our lovely community.
mean, people complained about that?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And basically the discussion was brought up whether this was, really the best route to take to, establish national teams. Now, mainly, I think this argument probably was centered in, the U.S., just for the sheer fact that, in other countries, the WMCQ system is, really great, but sometimes it gets a little bit awkward here in the States. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how else you would do it. I don't know how things were done in previous years. I've pretty much always had the WMCQs as a way to qualify for, the national teams. So, I don't know. You probably have more of a depth of knowledge about this than I do.
Yeah, so back how they used to do it was when they just had nationals. So every country just had a nationals tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be the top 4 players would basically become, the top 4 players at that tournament would be the national team. Some years they had the actual 4-man teams, and in other years it was the top 3 with the 4th person being an alternate in case one of the other people couldn't go. But the way that you would qualify for nationals was through regionals. So similar to kind of what Star City does now with the regionals. It wasn't every state had one, but it was, they had a New England regional and then a Midwest regional, whatever. And then it would all feed into just one nationals tournament. Now, even if you didn't top 8 your regionals or top 4, I believe it was one or the other, maybe both. You could still go to nationals. It was it was a big event. It was I guess it was kind of had a different feel to it. It wasn't quite a pro tour, but it felt more prestigious than a Grand Prix. But you could go to the event even if you weren't qualified, and they had grinders that they would just run all day, the day before. It's a tournament that I played in before, and it was a lot of fun. It used to be mixed format like Pro Tour, so they'd have a draft portion and constructed. This kind of predates even when they did that at Pro Tours, because Pro Tours used to just be all, either all limited or all one format. So that was kind of the only tournament that did that at the time. So, like you said, I mean, that's, I'm sure a lot of American pros would prefer to just have one tournament that they have to, take a weekend for, instead of trying to fly out to 2 or 3 different, WMCQs that might be all across the country. But I think overall, the system's fine as it is. I mean, if you think about all the countries that participate in this, I mean, that's 70 something that are in the World Magic Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these countries are, much smaller than the United States, obviously, and it's it's easier for people in those countries to travel to all the different ones. So it's fine. I mean, I don't know. I guess people are going to complain about about everything, especially Magic players.
Oh yeah,
but
I mean,
what are you gonna
we
do?
complain about what lands should be called.
We'll
complain about that anyway.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah. Oh no. But just that's the only mention of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it does create certain awkward situations that happen like this one, where Martel gets the scoop, and I don't know the motivations of the person that was with Martel in the finals. Maybe he just really wants the Nationals to have the best U.S. team, and maybe he's just a patriot, man. He's just a true patriot.
He's giving it up for the U.S. of A.
Yeah, just saluting the whole way. And you know what? If that's the case, good on him, I guess. I don't know. That's great.
We don't really know. It could have been that he didn't have a passport, or maybe he didn't have the funds to be able to travel. Who
definitely
knows?
a whole lot of different situations that could have happened. But you know what? Congrats, Tom Martell. I'm glad to have him on the team.
They did play it out, and Tom Martell won. So.
Yeah, so if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
Also to note that Martin Mueller won his WMCQ, so he'll be back, which is pretty sweet for the Danish team.
He's going to defend the belt.
Yeah, back to back, man. And that's pretty much it for the WMCQs. Next up, Mike and I did travel to Cincy to the Open. And Mike day 2, so he has probably a lot more stories than I did, but still nothing. So it's quite quite unfortunate. But anyway, no, I still have some stuff. I played a last minute decision to switch to Team or Twin, which I should have done, and didn't day two, unfortunately. Played against Boggles, budget Boggles, round one. To note, with some interesting Sunpetal Groves and Brushlands for his mana base. Turns out, you don't need necessarily good lands. Good quote unquote good lands to play that deck. It'll still get you dead.
All the good creatures are commons, right?
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's 1 mana and has hexproof, you'll play it. It was pretty close games, and the last turn of game 3 was so sad because I had a Exarch out, or a Splinter Twin creature out. I can't remember which one it was exactly, and he goes Gaddock Teeg pass, and then I draw Splinter Twin, and I go why why the pain. Went on to kind of, rattle off a couple wins and a couple more losses. Decided to drop at X3. Didn't really feel like kind of trying to grind it out for the last few rounds or anything like that.
As it turns out,
X3
made day 2.
X3 did make day 2. I really did not have the confidence in what I was playing to be able to maintain my X3 to make it to day 2. So I cut my losses and kind of just dirtled around the tournament hall and waited for everyone else in the car to kind of get finished up. But yeah, overall, when we take a look at the tournament, it was 651 players at the Open, which is pretty awesome. Todd Anderson took it down with Infect, and it was a fairly aggressive top 8 when we take a look at it. But this is his 6th Open win for Todd Anderson, which is insane, and it's the most ever for any single player.
Yep. And
then it seemed that there was definitely a fan favorite also making it in the top 8, which was Adam Bowman with his Slivers list. Now, apparently Mike had, shown us a Slivers list early on in the format of Modern. I forget when it was, but it was when Collect Company came out.
Yeah, I don't recollect that. I don't know.
I don't
know what you mean.
And he can't defend himself, but I don't remember being necessarily disingenuous about it. But apparently we were very dismissive when he showed it to us. I don't know. The jury's out. He's not going to go back into our show chat to find it. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't think we have any recordings of that. I don't
No.
believe that ever happened,
yeah,
so.
We'll see. I'll ask him to show evidence of his his claim. But we'll take a look. It's not like a Dave's deck corner necessarily, but this is just a tiny peek at this list basically. So we just have a lot of slivers when we look at it.
30 to be exact in the main deck.
And we have things like Siphon Sliver, which gives all your slivers lifelink, and all the other slivers that affect your opponent's slivers. So if you play against anyone that has like a Mutavault, you might want to watch out. Just saying. Most of the time it'll be merfolk, so you're probably fine, but who knows?
Now, see, it depends on which slivers you're talking
Correct.
about. Because some of them give all slivers the effect, and then some of the newer ones only give your slivers the effect.
So the new slivers don't. We were discussing this, as far as what may have contributed to this deck success. Collect Company is still a hell of a card. And also having access to 4 Abrupt Decays across the 75 is probably going to be really good for you. And then Aether Vial, sometimes just being able to not ever have to tap out for your creatures and just being able to do things like, Vindicate at instant speed. That's pretty good.
I was going to say, Aether Vial is pretty good in this deck. You have literally half your deck is creatures. You have 30 creatures. And being able to vial out a Necrotic Sliver, which I feel like we're going to have to read all these cards because not everybody's going to know what all these slivers do.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what Necrotic Sliver is, it's a 3 mana, so it's 1 white-black for 2/2, and then all slivers have pay 3, sacrifice this permanent, destroy target permanent. Mm-hmm. So being able to vial that in for free, and then leaving your mana up and being able to just kill things at will is pretty good. Interesting to note that I feel like the ability like it almost feels like it should have like play only as a sorcery, but that's not the case. So you could even like they go to kill your creature, like maybe one of your Sinew Slivers or something like that. You vial this guy in and then sack your Sinew Sliver that was going to die anyway to blow up, their threat or whatever.
No. And you even see like Sedge Sliver. I know this is a card from the deck that has sort of been surging in price as of late, which is 2 and a red for a 2/2, and it says all slivers have creature gets +1/+1 as long as you control a swamp, and then pay a black, regenerate target sliver. So this can be a blowout against removal as well. You just flash this in and just regenerate your creature. Yeah, sold out currently in Star City.
You weren't kidding.
At $10. So if you are just sitting on some Sedge Slivers, well, your wave is coming, sir.
I definitely had a bunch of those back when Time Spiral was out. But in any case, let's see. We'll just kind of go through some of the more interesting ones here. But it is literally just a pile of slivers.
Yeah, I mean, we'll assume at this point in time, if you are interested in it, that you have the deck list pulled up, and that you're taking a look at it. Now, something that you were discussing before the show is you said that this deck just needs some tuning if it were to continue forward. Maybe work out some of the numbers and definitely work on the sideboard. Because we have a lot of like dyssynergies. We have 4 mana slivers that don't necessarily work with Collected Company, and things like that. And Sliver Hive Lord, while very adorable, is definitely a 5 color spell, which may or may not be viable in this list. But
I feel like that's actually legit.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like if you put that, I would think like that would just be amazing against a Jund deck. Or like something like any kind of
usually indestructible is pretty good.
yeah, just giving all your slivers indestructible, and against like any of the Grixis not twin list, so like Grixis Delver or Grixis Control. I mean, as long as they don't have Dismember, then it's going to be pretty hard to do anything for the rest of the game, and you can make it uncounterable. I mean, this deck has 4 Cavernous Souls in it, so it shouldn't be too hard to get. You only need one of those to start making all your creatures uncounterable. So I could see why that was in the sideboard. That part of it's fine.
Has a place. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know what all this stuff does.
But I don't know. I feel like maybe some of the numbers in the main deck were a little odd. I mean, I obviously have not played this deck, so it's hard for me to really pick it apart too much. But some of the numbers seemed odd, like a 1 Siphon Sliver main deck, which gives all your slivers lifelink. It's, I don't know, 3 mana 2/2 against a lot of the decks. It's not really going to do anything.
Yeah, but it can potentially, swing a game. You are attacking for a lot. When you do attack, you play this and swing back to full life. It is probably pretty decent, against burn. Could be where this deck falls short.
I mean, I could definitely see situations where it would be good. I've personally, I'd probably want to max out on Sentinel Slivers, which I know is kind of a lame ability. That's the one that gives all your slivers vigilance, so it's just a 2 mana 2/2. But you do have a lot of other 2 mana slivers in the deck, so being able to just like leave the vial on 2 and just being able to put most of
maximize
play.
your ability to always have something to vial in, basically. It makes pretty good sense as far as that is concerned. So, but yeah, I know some people want us to talk about this, and it's definitely a thing. It kind of shows that Modern is relatively flexible, and you can still do interesting things in the format and be successful. So we encourage anyone out there that wants to try something, try it. See what you can do. You could maybe top 8 and open with some slivers. It's a thing.
I'm currently trying a list with 4 Abbot of Carol Keeps in it.
Yeah, you could do it.
I'm not going that far off the map. I'm still playing 4 Delvers. Don't worry about it.
Abbot's a very good card still. So when we take a look at the format in more of a day two metagame breakdown, we see that Affinity took it this weekend, which is something that's not surprising. We saw Affinity do very well, and it be very represented, I should say, in World Championships. So it makes sense for it to kind of show up here, and then we see Jund show up. Affinity had 21 decks in day two. Jund had 17 in day two.
Yeah, this Jund resurgence really doesn't make sense to me.
Oh no, I have no idea.
I don't get it.
And it must be there must be something else that is in the format that is keeping down. Like we see Amy Bloom and Green Rectron showing up at 7 each, which is a 10 list difference between Jund, and there has to be something in the format, whether it be. Maybe it's Merfolk. Maybe Merfolk is actually just a really bad matchup for Amulet Bloom or Green Retron, because we see that as being the third most represented deck, showing up with 10 decks going into day two, which makes sense. I'm sure Spreading Seas is pretty rough on something like Tron or Bloom.
For sure.
They could theoretically just combo out, but maybe that's the case. Twin obviously is never something that you really want to play against when you're playing Green Red Tron. I know that's typically a relatively bad matchup, so we show that also showing up. It's certainly interesting, but yeah, I don't know why Jund is just like, I'm just gonna be good now, so just deal with it. Maybe it just has, we also take a look. We also see like the Naya and Abzin company lists showing up as 5 apiece, so maybe Jund just has a really good matchup against technically it should have a good matchup against Affinity, theoretically, or just a removal deck. It can be close.
Yeah, I don't know that this. I guess it really depends. Like if you're running Creeping Corrosions,
that's or Shatter Storms or something like that.
It really swings the matchup, but it's like how many slots do you want to dedicate to it?
I mean, usually Jund at least has Ancient Grudges, Lightning Bolts, Kolaghan's Command.
That's Kolaghan's Command. Yeah. I mean, it's going to have a solid game against it, but as anybody who's played a decent amount of Modern has probably seen Affinity just be able to flop just get those nut draws that you just nobody can beat. So
you're just dead before turn 3, where it's like, I couldn't even cast a Shatterstorm in my hand.
Now you mentioned Twin. There were 9 Grixis Twin decks, and it was on camera quite a bit. There was actually a blue-red twin, just a straight blue-red twin that ended up top-aiding. Chris Stein was playing that one. But the one that was probably on camera the most was Eric Hawkins. He ended up finishing 11th playing Grixis Twin. But this was a list that I was actually pretty interested in. It was, pretty much your standard Grixis Twin list, except for he's playing 3 Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which we've seen... I feel like that card is gaining more momentum in Modern, especially in the Grixis list, and it was doing work. I mean, it's no joke. Definitely, you probably have to cut down on a couple of your other win conditions, like it's only playing 1 Pestermite instead of the normal 2, things like that. But yeah, it was fairly impressive. This deck also has main deck Inquisition of Kozilek, which not every Twin list runs.
Yeah. But I mean, you have that as you pointed out, because Jace doesn't necessarily work well with counterspells, so you play the proactive counterspell like Inquisition instead of the reactive one like Dispel.
Right, but yeah, I definitely. If you haven't seen this list, I do recommend checking it out. I think I really like this particular list of Grixis Twin. So actually, it makes me want to switch back to Twin.
Oh man,
I am. We'll see.
I really like the blue red Twin list that Chris Stein has. I think that is sort of probably the de facto list going forward. As far as like numbers are concerned. So if you are interested in going back just to straight blue red, I'd take a look at his list for sure. I really like how it's put together. And when I was playtesting for the tournament, after Cincy had decided that blue red was kind of where I felt it was sort of the game plan that I enjoyed more, the deck that I enjoyed playing more. So going forward, I'll probably stick to if I play Twin, trying to just play blue-red. So as a counterpoint to the Grixis one, look at the blue-red list as well, and definitely have a good idea. Probably don't play Team or Twin unless you're our friend Tam, because apparently he's the only one that can win. Him and Patrick Dickman are about the only two people that are really good with that list.
Yeah, those are kind of the Teamer Twins definitely. I feel like in third place after the other.
My Tower Boys, man, they let me down.
I just don't. I don't know. Like I do like that the blue red twin list is a little bit more streamlined and can play more counter spells, and I like that aspect of it. But I also just like, I don't know. I prefer to be a little bit more proactive right now in the format.
Yeah,
so playing things like Tasigur.
Tasigur is an awesome card, and an Inquisition, like getting access to Terminate, I think is something that maybe Jund is so good just because like Terminate is just like really good in the format right now. So that could just be the case when we break it down. But having access to that card is probably really awesome. So I think both have their merits, their upsides, and their downsides. It's kind of just what is good to go for that particular weekend. I feel like probably Grixis might be the one that's just like you could probably always bring Grixis Twin and do fine, just because you have the backup Tasigur plan. You are playing just more powerful, cheaper spells, and then maybe you play blue red when you really just want to combo people out, and then that's your primary play in game one.
Yeah, I think. I haven't really. I played very little Twin so far. I'm trying to play it a little bit more. But would you say that just blue red is probably favored against, like, if you would play the Twin Mirror? Would you say blue red is better?
It really depends. But yeah, I would say that it probably would have the slight edge just because your game one, probably have a slight edge just because like you're better set up to combo. Like you
it's just more. It plays like three. I believe that list had 3 Mantic Dispels, which is just insane against any other Grixis list.
You do run the risk of like just dying to Tasigur, that is like the card that you will have a hard time dealing with, but you do play like a main deck roast typically. So you have access to that at the very least, and like that's what your if you draw it, like that's your target. But you definitely have the most opportunity to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna win this turn. So that's my very novice assessment. Could just be stone wrong, but take it. So just forewarning.
I think that's fairly. I think that's pretty much. That's the way I was leaning. I mean, like I said, I haven't played the matchup, but I just feel like just looking at the list side by side, Grixis is trying to control the board a little bit more, like you said, like with the Terminates and the Kolaghan's Command and stuff like that, whereas the blue-red is more just focused on just comboing out and protecting the combo.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the implications are of a Infect Finals? That
the Infect Mirror.
Yeah, the Infect Mirror Finals. Obviously, like not necessarily very exciting games. It was are you playing first? Then you probably win. But like going forward, we don't necessarily have a huge modern events coming up next.
Well, we have a GP.
We have a GP. That's right. GP Oklahoma City. Right. Yep. So what do you think the impacts for that will be for Oklahoma City?
I mean, Infect is not really. I don't think it should be surprising to anybody.
No.
I mean, Infect is a deck that is always capable of winning the tournament, especially if people, come maybe slightly underprepared for it. It's a deck that, I mean, if you do decide that you want to beat it, it's pretty easy to beat. Basically, you just need to be able to just interact. You just need to have cheap interaction, ways to kill small creatures, essentially. So I mean, you might see, maybe some more forked bolts and things like that, or electrolyzes. Is it static casters? I don't know. I mean, all those cards are great against Infect. So I don't think it really. I don't think like more people are going to play Infect because of this. Mm-hmm. People might have slightly more sideboard hate against it, maybe.
Fair enough.
going forward.
I mean, like, if you take a look at the top 8, like, things like Is It Staticaster that are good against Infect and good against Affinity, probably pretty good choices going forward, so.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a big fan of Staticaster for a long time.
Yeah, I know. I've felt the losing end of it as a Staticaster many times, coming from Dave Nolan, and it's not the best.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel great.
It's not pretty. Yeah.
All my Lingering Souls tokens just bite the dust. And, I cry a lot.
Yeah, but yeah, like you said, I mean, it was fairly aggressive. You had the Infect Mirror. You had 2 Infinity decks in the top 8.
Yeah,
you have Merfolk showing up. We do have a blue-white control list played by Jesse Hafner, which is more of the kind of Yu Watanabe version. His list has Blade Splicer, which we haven't seen for a while. I mean, it has been seen in Modern before, but
heck of a card with Restoration Angel.
Yeah, some nice value there.
Some good synergies. I mean, like that. I feel like that blue-white deck is just like, what cards can we play with Restoration Angel that make it really sweet? And you just play a bunch of them, and it's great.
Yeah, I'm just checking out this list right now. Definitely interesting to note. 0 Sphinx's Revelations. Which is somewhat surprising. I don't know if have you ever cast that card in Modern?
No, I haven't. I've seen Mike cast it in Blue White Tron, and it does obscene things.
It is. All right. Well, all right. In Tron, obviously, you're just gonna get the sheer volume.
Sphinx's
of
Rev
cards,
for 8 is a common thing.
Yeah, but I have dabbled in Jeskai Control before. This was probably a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I played it in a side event at GP Richmond, and the first time I ever cast that card in Modern, it was just like, oh man, like
because your card quality is obviously insane.
Yeah, I played a lot of Sphinx's Revelation decks in Standard when that was legal, and when I cast it in Modern, it's like, oh man, I just drew like Cryptic Command, Lightning Bolt, Path decks. It's like, oh, okay,
just like all the sweet cards. So yes, Sphinx's Rev in Modern is obviously so much better than it ever was in Standard if you can pull it off. So.
Yeah, like you said, if you can pull it off. Which it's really balanced by the fact that Modern is much faster than Standard was. You don't always have the time to be sitting and Sphinx's Revelating.
But when you're playing a blue-white deck, that's kind of where you're headed. A lot of the times when you're playing Control, it might not be where you always end up. You might just die or kill them first. But yeah,
I mean that's the ideal. But even like a deck like this, like yes, it is technically Control, but even this deck has somewhat of an aggressive angle to it. Like you can get aggressive with Kitchen Finks and Blade Splicer and Restoration Angel. Like you can beat down. It's not like it's just sitting there countering spells all game and then you just end it with Sphinx's. Like Modern doesn't work that way.
No. You got to play some creatures. You got to gain some lives, and
Yeah, I think that just speaks to Modern in general. Like there are too many things in Modern to have to worry about dealing with. You're not going to be able to deal with everything.
No.
So you're better off just having a proactive game plan, which is why you don't see these like pure counterspell control decks do well ever.
Yeah. You don't have like things like Counterbalance Top to get your really grindy control matchups. You don't have Force of Will as like a that's more of a safety valve for combo anyway. But you don't have powerful counterspells necessarily. You have to be doing something else with your turns.
Yep. But all right. Before we move off of this, I just want to give a quick shout out to a friend of the cast, Chase Harrell, who finished 17th
with Jund. Yeah, he played. I played him at one of the local stores before the event, and definitely beat me with Jund when I was playing Twin, which is not notably a great matchup for Twin. So. But yeah, congrats! Awesome to see a local player show up. So let's move over to the IQ. It was won by actually not necessarily a local player to here, but definitely a player that we have run into from time to time. Jonathan Benson playing Mono Red Aggro. Benson's known for playing like ad nauseum in Modern, and he has done well in GPs that we've also attended, and Mike is friends with some of the guys that are up there, him among them. So
Yeah. So it was funny that you mentioned. So like before the cast, we were talking about, and you're like, "Oh yeah, Jonathan Benson won." I was like, "Oh okay," and like I'm sorry. Apparently, the guys are telling me that we've interacted before. I don't remember that. So Jonathan, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I don't remember that. But
he's probably
good
not
job.
listening.
Yeah, good job winning the IQ.
Yeah, he's playing mono red aggro. So this is and apparently Mike and Jordan actually went to day 2. They both day 2'd, and they were looking around at the standard IQ, and they saw a lot of red. So being that we in Columbus here, we have a 5K that's standard, we have a PPTQ that's standard. Mono red aggro still exists, and you can't necessarily count it out of being a part of the metagame. So keep it on your minds.
Yeah, it's always going to show up in some numbers.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just always how mono red is. It comes and it goes. It's always around in some numbers. But I mean, if you look at the top 16 list here, that's the only one in the whole top 16. So I mean, it's there may have been a lot of them there, but it doesn't look like there were too many at the top tables at the end of the day. So I mean, I don't know what that means like going forward for the metagame.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to kind of peg. We do see lots of Abzan, both control and aggro, as well as we do see Jeskai show up a lot. Now, I want to pull up something here.
I think I know where you're going with this one.
There's an interesting deck that shows up. It's blue red control. And it's playing interesting cards. It's playing Disciple of the Ring, which is insane. But in the sideboard, it looks like they have a burrito there in the sideboard. It's Reality Shift. Showing up as the 3 of. Now we cannot come to a consensus on this, as one of the anchor hosts is not here. But this is a top 8 of a $5,000 tournament, and there's definitely 3 reality shifts here, and I don't see any Jeskai Sages.
Are we sure? Did we check all the lists for Jeskai Sage?
I may not have verified all the lists, but I'm pretty sure there aren't any Jeskai Sages. So we'll have to get back to you next week. Definitely have to discuss it. But I think I might have won a bet. I think
like at the very least you should win a reality shift with an altar of just a Chipotle burrito on it.
I would actually prefer that.
Like just a burrito getting enveloped in the.
If you look at the promo art for it, I think it shows like Ugin, and you could just Photoshop. You could just alter it so Ugin looks like he's making it a burrito. Instead.
Like he's just ready to humph into.
Yeah,
a burrito.
exactly, precisely. That would be amazing. So if anyone wants to do that, make a Photoshop of it, and then get that and make it an altar of an actual reality shift, please. Reality shift is in my battle box, so I would use that as my reality shift card of choice.
Like you pretty much have to have it in your battle box, right?
Oh yeah,
like
of course.
Even if it's terrible, you're just like, well, I just have to put it in on principle.
It's great. Yeah, I really really enjoy Manifest in battle box. Not necessarily Morph. Mike has Morph in his, and I'll let him have that. But I think Manifest is really spicy because you just don't know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolates or life. I've heard. But yeah, I think we got there, guys. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. But
is that the only thing you wanted to talk about? This
100%. No, actually, I mean, like I said, if you haven't seen it, take a look at it. It's doing something different, and it's kind of attacking the format in a different way that you don't see in the standard. So it's important to kind of take a look at it, but I don't know. It could be a flash in the pan.
I was gonna say something. I gotta say one quick thing here. I just realized this because I don't know. I know that you probably don't believe this, but I haven't thought about reality shift in the context of standard for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which it's crazy, but but this definitely exiles a creature. So with all these hangerback walkers running around, it's like
doesn't matter.
Would you rather take your chances of the random 2/2 off the top than a hangerback walker that's
so
out
the
of
best
control?
thing is you reality shift. The hangerback walker and then the manifest. Oh, it's another hangerback walker.
Oh, man,
you've actually just killed 2 hangerback walkers, and they've gotten 0 value.
See, yeah. Yeah, that's the hot tag.
That's
here.
living the dream.
Yeah,
folks, living the dream.
I feel like this is just going to catch on from here. Like now that we've
please.
brought this to the masses now.
If anyone wants to do this before reality, before we rotate out of Theros. I mean, obviously, reality shift will still be there, but the sooner the better. That's what I always say. I really need to gain some steam because I feel like I'm going to get fought pretty heavily on this whole burrito bet thing. So
yeah, I gotta say, reality shift still, the Ugin's Fate promo is still only $4. So
yeah, get on it. Get making that
pick
burrito.
Pick them up now. It's your magic speculation for the week. For Matt and stuff.
So that's it for standard. Lastly, we have the Legacy IQ. Logan Mize, actually notable name, wins it with Grixis Delver. Delver just seems to be like, super uber powerful in Legacy at this point in time. Like, there's just a bunch of Delvers lists. There's Grixis. There's 4-color. There's obviously Teamer Delver is still floating around, and even Blue Red still existing. But yeah, just tons of stuff going on with Delver. Card's too good. Flying wild in the column.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me, man. I know. I understand.
I've been there. I'm living that life.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about Legacy. I mean, I will say Grixis Delver has been a deck that has been, I guess it's probably the best deck in Legacy right now. I mean, we've seen Legacy's always shifting around, not even necessarily due to new cards, but just due to just different decks deciding that they want to be tier 1.
Right.
But yeah, Grixis Delver, I mean, we've obviously seen lots of different Delver decks, from Teamer Delver to Sultai Delver, which were probably the two most popular ones, even just a couple months ago. Then we had when was it True Name Nemesis came out, we had Jeskai Delver for a while.
Yeah.
So now it's Grixis' turn. So I mean those are all the blue shards, right?
Pretty much.
Blue shards / wedges.
Shards.
Yeah, we got them all.
Wedges.
We got them all in there.
Yep. But if it plays blue, then you're probably going to want to be playing Delver, unless you're playing Miracles, and then you just want to be killing stuff with all the cool things you do and countering things, and generally being a very slow, obnoxious deck.
Yeah. And again, I know this is probably going to be hard for you to believe, but if I do plan any more Star City Invitationals that have Legacy, I'll probably be playing something like this.
It's not very surprising or shocking
No.
at all.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for the competitive stuff. I mean, we could do the new segment, folks, but I feel like
we should leave. Like, that's like kind of Mike's thing.
Yeah, I feel like we would honestly be depriving you not only of the segment and its fullness, but also the sweet theme song he couldn't get out of his head. So unfortunately, I think we'll have to postpone the Under the Hood and kind of make this a shorter episode. Don't worry, folks. We have some long ones coming up.
We'll do Under the Hood next week.
Yeah,
we'll fit it in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll make up for it. You'll be fine. But we have our look back episode coming up. We also have the set review coming up. So you guys have plenty to look forward to.
I'm not looking forward to the look back. Does that make sense?
I don't think any of us are. There's some good cards that we said were garbage. It's going to be a very humbling moment for us, and you guys will enjoy it. The listeners will enjoy it. They like making it, us making ourselves look stupid, so it's fine.
Yeah, I will say there's a card that I don't think I've ever been more wrong on. I mean, we've been doing set reviews for
quite
a couple years now.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Yeah, it just it really it endears me to not really ever making an opinion on any cards ever, and just never being right or wrong. It's great.
Hey, but I mean, it wouldn't be fun if we were wrong.
That's
right?
true. Yeah, you have to commit, and sometimes you make the wrong choice. But so we'll tie this episode together. It's a bit of a shorter one than we're used to, but that's fine. It's okay. Like I said, we're gonna have some long ones later. So over the weekend we have a 5K. Star City Games Invitational Qualifier run by Comic Town. It'll be this Saturday, the 12th, at the Greater Columbus Convention Center downtown. Registration opens at 9. Player meeting is at 10, and I think entry is $40.
Yes.
And then It'll be at 1:30. There's actually going to be a PPTQ. It'll be oh, okay, so it'll be 1:30 or the conclusion of round 3, so it might be a little bit later depending how the tournament's running. I believe the cost on that is 25 for the entry. It's either 25 or 30, but I believe it's 25. And it'll be standard format for both the tournaments. So whatever you want to play in, whatever you want to do, it'll be there. Bring your standard deck. You'll be prepared. And Comic Town's usually really good at running side events. So if you want to draft or even play potentially Modern or something else, it should be there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not.
Absolutely, yeah. And the 5K actually, I believe, pays out to top 32. So
yeah, usually the 5Ks is top 32. So I think the lowest you can get paid is 50 smackaroonies. So
yeah, so I mean that's good value.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and it'll be a well-run tournament. It'll have us there. So why not come down, say hi.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get to play some Magic. I was honestly like really bummed that I wasn't able to attend Cincinnati.
Yeah,
because I really love Modern, so that was kind of a bummer. But I'm definitely gonna get
some
back on the horse this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Play some Standard. I literally haven't played Standard since, was it the week after the Pro Tour? I played it in F&M.
Wow.
I played Mono Red.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but no, I got a deck that I like, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll be sweet. So also over the weekend we have SCG, you have to say this one because I would be doing a disservice to the great people.
The Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Out there. Yeah, SCG Worcester.
Yep. It's standard. And then we have GP Oklahoma City, which is Modern, so we can continue watching some sweet Modern coverage over the weekend, and then GP Madrid, which is going to be Magic Origins Limited. So,
yeah. So whatever you want to get the whole buffet.
Yeah,
except for Legacy.
Yeah, no Legacy. Sorry,
not the whole buffet. You get
most of it,
like 3/4.
Yeah, I mean we could say vintage, but that's not even.
Yeah, that's not like.
That's like the buffet section. That's like the dessert, and they always say like, it's where the cheesecake is, but there's never any cheesecake because everyone's always taken it. So it's just not. It's insignificant. It doesn't really exist, but it's there. So that's pretty much it for everything we had in the show. If you want, you can follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Anything.
I mean, you can like us.
You can like us on Facebook. We're at Your Instep on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, or just at Your Instep. So at symbol Your Instep. Very clean, very nice. I know, it's great. Leave a review for us on iTunes. Subscribe to us on there as well. It's an easy way to get the show. Also check out our website at yourinstep.com. It's a nice, you basically get to see all the episodes that have been published, show notes, everything like that. And then you can also download us from MTG Cast. It's one of our hosting services basically, and they put up the show, and they have tons and tons of other shows on there that are all Magic related. So it's a great way to kind of get some more podcasts to listen to when we have shorter episodes like this, and you can just switch into something else and check it out. But I believe that's pretty much everything for this week. We'll catch you guys next time, and you have a great one. Bye.